Okay, today we're going to finish up F.A.T. City. We've been working on this F.A.T. City program now for the last couple of months. Just a reminder that Dr. Richard Lavallee is the one who initially started F.A.T. City. It stands for frustration, anxiety, intention, and their strategies really for working with our special ed LD kids. And at our first session, we went through quickly what a learning disability was, and we said it was a matter of an exclusionatory explanation, definition. What is not normal gets categorized as LD. We've been through a lot of sessions. Today we're going to go through a couple more. You've got a handout in front of you. We're going to run through oral expression, reading and decoding, auditory and visual capabilities, and fairness. This is one of the best segments that Dr. Lavallee does because it's very interesting. And I want to share one of his activities with you right now. You're going to see it again on the video, but I think it really drives the point home, especially when we have kids with reading disabilities. And I know we give people paper and we say, read this. And when they don't read, what do we say? Try what? Try harder. Try harder. Why can't you read that? Try harder. Come on, you're not making an effort. You're not doing it. Try harder. And he comes up with some very, very eye-opening information. And I want to give you a really quick demonstration. What is this?
Watch.
A watch. No, that wasn't hard, was it? That was pretty easy. What is it now? Watch. What is it now? What is it now? So no matter what we did with this, it's still a watch. Is that right? Okay. Well, we teach our kids that right away. What is this?
B.
A P. What is this?
B.
A B. What is this?
D.
And what is this?
P.
A Q.
No, try to
Oh, the other way. It's a Q. But the point is that children aren't introduced to any spatial orientation until they show up at school. They think a watch is a watch, is a watch, is a watch, is a watch. And when they get to school, all of a sudden spatial orientation becomes important to kids. And if they've never experienced spatial orientation, how many of you have seen letter reversals and it drives you crazy? That's the reason. It's the spatial orientation. Everything makes a difference. This means one thing, this means something else, this means something else, and this means again something else. The same shape, it's the same shape in a different position, and it has a completely different meaning. This is a puh. This is a buh. That's a duh. And I'm not sure. Qua. There we go. That's a qua. And a lot of times we fuss it and we stammer at kids, and we don't realize that what we see.
Able to work successfully with a child, mainstream child, learning disabled child, in the mainstream classroom, until teachers and parents begin to understand that in order to be fair, we've got to treat them differently.
Anybody want to hazard a guess when he made this video? It was back in the 70s and 80s is when he made it. He was very popular. He still does these. He has his latest workshop is called After F.A.T. City, where he uses recent brain research techniques, and he takes his techniques one step further. It's an awesome series. I can't tell you enough about what I've learned from him. I'm guilty of a lot of what he says. The rest of us are on the sheet. I mean, when a student is stumbling, I say, it's easy, read it, it's easy, or you know, and I'm the master of the rhetorical question. But half the battle to winning or correcting yourself is to identify that you have that flaw or you're making that mistake, and then you can correct it. I just want to remind you that we've gone through a lot of different things. I've given you handouts at every shop, but there's a lot of things that he said can help that LD child when they come home to your class. Having an agreement with them that you'll never ask them a question unless you're standing in front of them, so that they can have time to process what you're saying and not be worried about whether you're going to ask them that next question. Can anybody remember anything from the other sessions that particularly struck home that you liked or that you took back to your classroom and you used? Had a lot of sessions.
I did the one with the skull with the woman.
The skull and the woman.
Yes.
Knowing that what we see through our eyes may not be exactly what they saw. How many of them saw the skull and not the woman?
I had two that saw the woman, and everybody else in the class saw the skull.
And did you take it?
And then I went from each table, and I showed them, and they were like, oh, wow.
So visual perception, what we see is not necessarily what they do. I have students that read just as what you saw on the video, just the way they do. They stumble and they read because they can't tell the difference between the P and the B and the D. And I see my own grandson when I get frustrated when he makes those letter reversals, and I fumble around. Why can't you understand that that's the B sound? And he sometimes fumbles through that. But if we understand what the students see, we can all be better teachers. I don't know of any kid in this school who wants to be labeled as LD. Does anybody know of any who wants that? They don't. And sometimes, and I'm guilty of this, we treat those students like they're some kind of pariah because they're LD. They're put on earth to make our life difficult, right? And sometimes we feel like that when we see those walkers come in our classrooms and they sit down and it's, oh gosh, why are they even here? You know, just to make my life more difficult. And I have to remind myself that that's not the reason they're here. There's a reason they're here, and we may not know what it is, but our job is to try to teach them wherever they are.